Joyce is desperate for some granny time and Carol's writing an erotic novel. All posts covered with boomers in half an hour. Some strong language now on BBC One. It's back.
Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Stephen Mangan. In the news this week, word spreads that Rupert Murdoch has rewritten his will to cut out his children. On a building site in Surrey, David Cameron discusses with engineers exactly where Ian Duncan Smith is going to have his accident. And in North London, the government's new pro-EU leaflet arrives through Boris Johnson's letterbox. On Ian's team tonight, a German comedian who believes British audiences are wrong to applaud someone before they've actually done anything. So let's see what happens now. As I say, please welcome Henning Wehn. And with Paul tonight, a politician who, after last year's general election, was leader of UKIP in that brief period between Nigel Farage resigning as leader and Nigel Farage sobering up. Please welcome Suzanne Evans. And we start with the biggest stories of the week. Ian and Henning, take a look at this.
Yes, that's Panama. Someone handing over money.
Want some more? He does.
Putin. Oh, that smells fishy. And already there are investigations in a lot of countries. A prime minister's fallen. Might be two. This is a fabulous story by a whistleblower for a company in Panama, and I do hope he's somewhere with a beard and a baseball cap, hidden safely away, having offended Putin, the Chinese, all Arab countries, and David Cameron, obviously. It's 11 million documents proving that the idea that the rich are an extraordinary elite who are constantly trying to evade giving any money to any society with which they live in is entirely true. What do you think?
Well, it's not unexpected, is it? So, you didn't look at that and think, oh, I would have never guessed that. So, on the other end, does keep Britain safe in a way. Because for as long as the president of Bananistan has got his ill-gotten money squirreled away in UK property, they're not going to attack the UK. So essentially, you don't need MI5, MI6 and anything. All you need is Foxtons.
It's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened on this scale. I mean, I'm sorry to be enthusiastic about it. I know you expected it, but, God, the detail's fantastic. And they've had a scalp. I mean, most journalism doesn't end up with the Prime Minister resigning. But in Iceland, I mean, was it 10% of the population went out on the street? That'd be the equivalent of 5 million of us going up to Downing Street and saying, give us your dad's money back. It's just an idea.
And as you said, the people of Iceland have reacted with fury. On the streets of Reykjavik, the incredibly well-behaved Icelanders stamped their feet for a bit and their Prime Minister resigned after it was revealed he and his wife had a huge offshore tax fund. Although his spokesman claims he has not resigned, he has merely vacated the office of Prime Minister temporarily.
Oh, no, we've heard this before, Suzanne. Anyway, what's the man in Iceland called?
Sven?
get a German on and he does the racist stereotypes.
Yes, these are the Panama Papers from the office of tax lawyers Mossack Fonseca. I believe Harry Redknapp once tried to sign him for Tottenham. Why is this embarrassing for the Prime Minister?
Well, the Prime Minister's father was named in the papers, and he ran a investment vehicle, amusingly called Blair Moore Investments. Which is entertaining, because it suggests you could move even more money offshore than Blair did.
And the fund was moved to Ireland when Cameron became Prime Minister, because apparently a source said it was about to come under more scrutiny. I would like to make it clear at this point that nobody has broken the law.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about Jack the Ripper?
Yeah, well...
This is the Prime Minister who said, I want more transparency and I want less corruption. And there are these very funny series of statements, starting with, this is a private matter, and people saying, no, it isn't. OK, it's not private. I'm never, in the future, going to get any money from these offshore holdings. And then people say, what about in the past, then? And then I believe the latest news is he's admitted there was 30 grand he's taken out of it, and he sold the shares.
Yeah.
So he used to own some shares in Blair Moore.
Yeah, he suddenly remembered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it does give the impression that, you know, the shares paid for his inheritance and his schooling, and it's just that idea that we're all in it together, if you happen to run a country.
And then at some point during that, he said, put up or shut up, which was kind of like a big red flag flying, I think, because when a politician says that, you know their back's against the wall.
Have you noticed that with other politicians? Well, I think it is incredibly embarrassing for him.
Yes, Cameron dealt with these embarrassing questions in instalments. He said it's a private matter. Here he is in 2013 commenting on the private tax affairs of Jimmy Carr.
Think of all those people who work hard, who pay their taxes, and out of that post-tax income save up to go and see Jimmy Carr. He's taking that money and stuffing it into something where he doesn't have to pay taxes. That is not fair.
To be fair, whenever Cameron gives a speech, he's always free entry.
Where was he when he was asked about his tax affairs, and why was it extra embarrassing?
The Bahamas?
Shame, he would have got a nice tan, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
No.
Lanzarote?
No.
Oh, PricewaterhouseCoopers, wasn't he?
That's right, yes. He was at the accountants PricewaterhouseCoopers, who have been criticised by a Commons committee for facilitating tax avoidance on an industrial scale. Various world leaders have been building up stacks of tax-free cash offshore. What has the president of the UAE been secretly doing with all his money?
I bought up London properties.
Exactly right, yeah. He's bought £1.2 billion worth of London properties. He's bought half of Oxford Street and parts of Mayfair. He didn't get the utilities or the stations, though, which are actually better value. Astonishingly, the world of football has allowed itself to be besmirched by these offshore revelations. How did that happen?
Well, they got their new man Infantino as the new FIFA president, and then they had one geezer looking after the ethics committee or something, and then it required, and he was working, if not for that Fonseca lot, but then something related to them. So essentially, he's the ethics man, and he's right in the middle of it all. So, and that doesn't look too good, does it? They should have kept Blatter, I said that all along.
Yeah. Yes, UEFA did a deal on TV rights with an offshore company called Cross Trading. It's like the night manager, this, isn't it? Which was a front for an alleged fraudster. The deal was signed by brand new, squeaky clean FIFA boss Gianni Infantino. I can't help noticing there are a lot of extremely bald men in the news at the moment. So shall we play a game of Whose Bald Bonce Is This?
Yes.
Right, teams, fingers on buzzers. Here's your first bald bonce. Who's that?
Ian Duncan Smith.
Yes, it is.
Hey.
Ian, you made him cry, didn't you?
I did. I made a documentary about Victorian benefits, and I asked him some questions about the poor law and workhouses and he suddenly started crying when he told me about this young girl who had no start in life and he wanted to help. And then people said, well, what did you do when he cried? Did you comfort him? And I said, no, it's Ian Duncan Smith.
You didn't tell Ian Duncan Smith you were related to him, did you? You didn't go, Daddy. And you didn't do that.
Yes, let's have a look at another bald bonce.
Oh.
Is it someone's knee?
It's actually Sajid Javid, our business secretary. Are his ears very low, or is it just the angle of the shot? Look at him, his head has melted and they've slid down the side of his face. And finally... Who's that?
Bobby Charlton.
Right profession.
Somebody old in football, is that it?
Well, he will be thrilled to hear that. It's Ray Wilkins.
Has he been in the news?
He hasn't. Suck it up.
I mean, this game needs a little bit of refining, I think.
This is the shock news that some of the world's biggest bastards have been using offshore companies to dodge their tax. Panama may seem an unlikely location for financial security, but if there's one thing we know about Panama, they can keep things under their hat.
I don't think we should applaud that sort of thing.
No. It's disgusting. Yeah. In the past, David Cameron has described people using offshore schemes to minimise their tax as not morally acceptable. A refreshingly honest end to the eulogy at his father's funeral. The first casualty of the scandal was Iceland's Prime Minister, who has been forced to resign. He's also in danger of having his assets frozen. Still, that's what happens if you go sunbathing in Reykjavik. Ronnie Corbett, that one's for you. Vladimir Putin has been linked to the offshore banking scandal. Rather more surprisingly, he's also been linked to Wendy Deng. At the moment, it's just a rumour. We'll only know for sure when they split up and she's found dead in a locked hotel room. Paul and Suzanne, take a look at this.
Yes. Oh, yes, this is Port Talbot, I imagine. The crisis in the steel industry because we have no money, because it's all in Panama. And that's the industry secretary who's pretending that he's going to do something about it.
Which he can't because the EU is completely strangling it. Oh, and there's the president of China.
Happy hour.
Yeah, David Cameron trying to do this man of the people bit like Nigel Farage and failing abysmally.
Yes.
What, you think Farage looks good with a pint? Or
Yeah.
two?
Yeah, or
That's
two.
what this country needs, somebody who's always on the piss. Totally.
It worked for Churchill, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, he was up against different opposition, though. And thankfully, we were allowed to make those remarks because we won.
Yeah, shouldn't have brought it up.
I was going to say you started it, but then...
Yeah, this is the news that Tatar are to sell off the steelworks at Port Talbot in Wales. It's losing £1 million a day thanks to British imports of cheap Chinese steel. Business Minister Anna Soubry suggested buying Tatar for £1, causing alarm at the Treasury, which didn't think it had that much available.
It's also a question of money. They're losing £1 million a day. I noticed that sort of international tax evasion is costing us, what's the figure? 16 billion a year. So we could keep Port Talbot going for, about 300 years.
Not keep it going for quite a long time if we weren't paying 350 million a week to the EU.
Well, if you weren't in the EU, I wouldn't be here. That is a blessing or not is for you to decide.
Which campaign are you in now?
You'd never guess.
No,
The
no,
Leave
of the
campaign.
many on the other side.
Oh, I see. I'm on the board of Vote Leave.
You're not one of the grassroots lot.
No, I didn't like the look of the green tie. I didn't think it'd suit me.
And is Nigel in the grassroots lot?
Nigel's in the
Oh, what a
grassroots lot.
coincidence.
Yeah.
It's all a bit Judean People's Front of Judea. Tatar took the decision to sell up at a board meeting in Mumbai last week. Local MPs and union representatives from Port Talbot flew out there to lobby the company. Where was the government's business secretary, Sajid Javid?
In Australia.
Yeah, that's right. He was on holiday. Sorry, he was at a trade meeting. Writing in the Sunday Times, Sajid Javid said of his eventual visit to Port Talbot, "I had the privilege of meeting some of Britain's hardest working men and women." His PR team. Suzanne, when you see what an extraordinary mess the government has made of this, surely you must still be tempted to rejoin the Tory party and leave all those UKIP nutters behind.
No, they're not nutters. No. They're a great bunch of people, UKIP, and I'm sticking with UKIP. Well, at least I hope, if they let me back in.
You're
Please.
you're suspended for what, 6 months?
6 months.
Are you going to appeal?
I absolutely am.
Try and get a year?
Yeah.
While we've been away, the EU debate has been raging dully on. All sorts of claims are being made about what will happen if we stay or go, with each side accusing the other of scaremongering. So let's sort everything out once and for all with a quick but potentially fun game of fear or fact. Fingers on buzzers.
Yeah. Okay, right.
If we leave Europe, we'll be able to make browner toast. Fear or fact?
Got to be a fact.
Well, UKIP MEP David Coburn certainly thinks so. He blames EU regulations for his less than powerful toaster. If you're watching Mr. Coburn, the next time that happens, put your fork in the toaster and poke it around a bit. If we leave, we will at last be free to recycle tea bags. Fear or fact?
Can't we recycle tea bags already?
The Mayor of London claimed in the column you can't.
Yes, that's right. Boris Johnson feels his life has been blighted by regulations on tea bag recycling, although it turns out there aren't any.
Yeah, but still fair enough to be cross about it.
Yeah.
Bloody Brussels.
Yeah.
If we leave, it'll be the end of the booze cruise. Fear or fact? It's Suzanne.
Definitely fear.
Definitely a fear?
Definitely fear. The French are going to stop us going over there and buying their booze? Not a chance.
Well, the Transport Secretary, Patrick McLaughlin, he thinks there's a risk the EU might introduce customs limits and stop us stocking up on 110 litres of beer, 90 litres of wine and 10 litres of spirits. On hearing this news, Nigel Farage tweeted, "I've decided today is the perfect time to announce I'll be supporting the campaign to remain in the EU." Not really, that was actually Nigel's idea of an April Fool's joke. One reply to that tweet stated, "You didn't need to bother with this, you're already one of the biggest fools on the planet, April or otherwise." Do you regret sending that now, Suzanne? Anyone want to hear a former Swedish Prime Minister's view on the EU? Here he is on Newsnight with Evan Davis.
Yeah. And a former Swedish PM tells us if Britain can leave the EU, be in the single market and have full border control.
No.
In other news this week, Jeremy Corbyn announced he will be playing Glastonbury, although he's refused to appear on the pyramid stage as he's opposed to any sort of hierarchical structure. And so to round two, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Paul.
Donald Trump, he's... it could be anything, really, with him, isn't it? Why is he so angry? He's a billionaire, he's got a lovely wife who loves him for his money. I mean, what is the... what is he so angry about?
I think he's angry because he's just lost.
In
He's lost in Wisconsin.
Yes.
And the whole sort of Trump bandwagon appears to be slowing up.
Yes, this is the news that Donald Trump may have finally out-crazied the Republican Party. He's lost votes with women after making controversial comments on abortion, and then lost votes with women haters by trying to take them back.
That's a frequent accusation, is that politicians, they're too dull. Well, he isn't dull.
No.
But you want to be governed by him? So I want them as dull as possible.
Yes, charismatic leaders in the past have led to all sorts of trouble. And I would say that...
The thought of him being in charge of America, he can't even control the knob on his sunbed.
I think you should refer to him as his butler. Yes. But, I mean, this whole business about building the wall in Mexico and the Mexicans will pay for it, I mean, well, that's not going to happen, is it? It's 1,000 miles long.
Yeah.
They'll get a ladder.
What he's done is threatened to cut off the billions of dollars Mexican immigrants send back from America to Mexico unless Mexico make a one-off payment of $5 billion to $10 billion. Let's see what the former Mexican president Vicente Fox thought about that idea.
I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall.
Made him angry, didn't it?
Livid he is.
He's furious. Can we just take a brief moment here to look at Donald Trump's mouth? What is weird about it is, someone on the internet spotted this, you can replace his eyes with his mouth and he looks the same. There's him normally.
Yeah.
And then with mouths for eyes... This is the news that Donald Trump has lost the Republican primary in Wisconsin. After a disastrous week, Trump's dreams lie in tatters. He may never become president and therefore may never be powerful enough to catch the eye of Wendy Deng. According to the Mail, Heidi Cruz says that her first date with Ted lasted hours because he asked a lot of questions about my background, my goals in life, my 10-year plan, my 20-year plan. Jesus, I take the Rohypnol myself. This week saw criticism of Donald Trump for retweeting photos of his wife next to Heidi Cruz. British politicians were equally quick to condemn the photos, except for Boris Johnson, who spent 10 minutes trying to swipe left. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Yes, Paul.
Some cats can understand better accents than others. Some accents they don't
They
get.
respond better to a northern accent?
No,
They meow differently depending on where they live.
that is the right answer. Well done. This is the news that scientists think cats can pick up regional accents. Before we get into the enormous detail of this story, how do cats say meow in Germany, Henning?
Meow.
Are British meows under threat from Brussels, Suzanne? The scientists behind this claim actually come from Sweden. What noise do cats make in Sweden?
Sven.
They say meow. And finally, who would like to see a dog flying a plane?
Not for me. There are certain things that I find entertaining and certain things that are no-go.
Here we are. A Staffordshire Bull Terrier collie cross called Shadow took control of a plane at 3,000 feet, flying in a figure of 8 circuit, following directions from his trainer. Here he is.
OK, next one, turn to right up.
Go, Dad. Good.
That's
Go.
it.
Dad, boy.
Shadow nails turn 2, but next is the first of the key manoeuvres.
Absolute garbage. Not in a million years did that dog fly the plane.
Not after the last accident he had.
They actually had to stop it there because he had to go back and serve drinks and nibbles. As news broke that a dog had successfully taken control of a plane, one passenger was quick to react. What's the airline called? Lufthansa? Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication On the Lighter Side, the magazine for international lighter collectors. If you want to thumb through it, it usually takes a few goes. And we start with, armed with just a paperclip, you can what in less than a minute?
Attach two pieces of paper together. Oh, that's British.
Armed with just a paperclip, you can make a stand for your lighter in less than a minute. An innocent enough idea in the pages of the Lighter magazine, though it led to a flood of hate mail from outraged readers of Paperclip Digest. Next, what now goes by the less insulting nickname?
Fuckface McGee. That's the only one I can think of.
The answer is Dopey Dick the Killer Whale. Now goes by less insulting nickname. Next, stubborn hipster tries to what in what?
I know this one, I think.
Oh, go.
I tried to get very large sofa into tiny car.
Is the right answer. Next, Alistair Campbell is scared of what?
Justice.
The answer is Alistair Campbell is scared of ketchup.
Ketchup?
That is nothing to be scared of, really.
And finally, Grandpa attempting to what gets it horribly wrong?
Justify the bombing of Dresden?
Grandpa attempting to take passport pictures gets it horribly wrong. Here's what happened when one grandpa, Nonno Bill, recently went to get his done in one of those modern photo booths. So, the final scores are... Ian and Henning have 4, but this week's winners are Paul and Suzanne with 6. But just before we go, there's time for the caption competition.
After a rare moment of honesty, Ian Hislop's career takes a downturn.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Henning Venn, Paul Merton and Suzanne Evans. And I leave you with news that, as FIFA look to move away from accusations of corruption, China reveals its bid for the 2030 World Cup. At a retirement home in the northwest, one relative worries the standard of care might not be quite up to scratch. And at a stoneworks in California, a life-size Kim Kardashian statue nears completion. Good night.
Coming up, even the boomers blush at Carol's raunchy writing and Joyce fights for her granny rights next. And later, Dame Helen Mirren, Kevin Costner and Ricky Gervais among the A-listers joining Graham Norton at 10:35.